Well, hi. Today is Monday, December 16th, 2024. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Hope everyone came through the ice safely on Friday. It seems like every time we get the first major storm, I'm going to call this a major storm, even though we didn't get that much, because anytime it's very slick outside, that's going to be a problem. And, side streets were a little bit slippery for a while. I just stayed put and waited for everything to melt on Saturday. Then we got all that rain on Saturday, so that kind of helped a little bit, and then things warmed back up again. But as I said, hope everyone came through safely. I thought that we'd run down a few things that are going on this week. Of course, Christmas is now, 9 days away? Wow, that's coming up really quickly. And actually, there is an event going on out at Iowa Western tonight. It's a free holiday concert, Joy to the World. So it's going to be at the Arts Center and begins at 7 o'clock. A lot of other things going on this week, including tomorrow. If you are, one of your hobbies is sewing, or maybe you just like to learn more about it, there is How to Sew a Holiday Countdown Calendar at the Council Bluffs Public Library. How about that? That's going on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, White Christmas at Chanticleer Theater at the Haw Family Arts and Culture Center in Council Bluffs. That's actually going on Thursday through Sunday. Performances 7:30 to 10. And also, It's a Wonderful Life will be shown, a Christmas movie series at the Arts Center at Iowa Western. That's coming up on December 19th. And let's see, what else do we have going on? Grist Mill Theater in Macedonia has a Christmas organ concert on the 20th. And there's several Christmas activities going on at Maloney's on the 100 block. I can see that they've got a lot of things listed here. So one of my favorite websites, unleashcb.com, and it's the Council Bluffs Convention and Visitors Bureau website. You can see everything that's going on, not just here locally, but across Potawatomi County, and sometimes even get a little bit farther out. So just put that into your favorites on whatever your favorite web browser is. I do not have a guest today. However, we're going to have plenty of guests this week, so we'll be talking more about that in the coming days. I was contemplating on what to do with this particular show, and this week is, well, it's got me thinking about some things because it's a bit of an anniversary for me. As many of you know, I had been involved with the radio station in Council Bluffs, and that did not work out the way that I thought that it was going to. And this week marks a year since I left. So I've actually been gone from there longer than I actually was there. That seems kind of strange, but that's the way that it is. And it got me to thinking about some things and about change and about learning and how all of that ties in, not just personally, but to be honest, more about the business end of it. Because if we're not learning, then we're falling behind because everything changes constantly. And now in my particular case, this was a matter of, if you walk through the wrong door, that doesn't mean you have to stay in the wrong room. And that's kind of part of the reason why I'm not doing that anymore. And, it's the business world, it's always evolving. With podcasting, which I am very, very in tune with, it's always evolving. There's constantly new technology coming along that not only makes things easier, but also makes things better. And I am doing things differently now than I was when I first started doing podcasting. If you think back, the Council Bluffs Chamber of Commerce had a podcast called Chamber Chat. It was just an audio podcast, and I hosted that for them. And we were just doing a strictly audio podcast. And initially, when I got things started with what I was doing, I was recording everything on Zoom. I found out quickly that while Zoom can have its place for conducting meetings and being able to get a lot of people into one place online, it's not a really high quality recording. It's never meant for widespread consumption that way. It's more just to be able to refer back to. So I don't use that anymore. I have a much better platform. It's what I'm recording myself on right now. That's just part of the technology that comes in, and you always need to be paying attention to what's happening. Just because it's how you've always done it, that doesn't mean that's how you always should do it. I've talked with different real estate agents over my career, and I think back to the 90s when people were just starting to bring on websites. And back then, some of the more progressive real estate agents were starting to develop their own web pages. But there was some pushback from that from the older guard because they didn't think that it would work and they were going to lose a lot if they didn't have somebody sitting across the table from them. You're going to lose that personal connection. Well, the technology just took over, and that's the direction that it went. And I think that you'd be hard pressed to find a real estate agent that did not have their own website anymore. In fact, most of the brokerage firms, they provide a website for their individual agents. And I personally believe that that's what's going to come with the video podcast end, because it's such a great way to be able to stay in touch with people. It's why I am able to do this. You know, I'm an old radio guy, but now I am no longer in that radio industry, but yet I can still do what it is that I know how to do because of this platform. And it's been it's been a learning experience through the entire thing. It's understanding that it's okay to not know everything. You know, something I tell any new client that I have or any potential new client when they ask me, well, how do I get started? And I say, well, you just start. That's how it is. And you have to be willing to suck for a while. It sounds like a joke, but it's really true that it's not, you don't have to step up to the plate and hit a home run right out of the gate. I was listening to a different podcast. There's somebody, he's been at it for a while, but he's reasonably new to me. His name is Dan Martell. And he had business author John Maxwell on, more of a leadership role as John Maxwell. And he's written close to 70 books. And as I was listening to this podcast, John Maxwell was talking about how long it took him before he felt he actually had written a good book. And he said it was his seventh book. Up until that point, he said they weren't very good. And this is where I'm going to disagree with what it was that he was saying, because he was saying that he thought he should have waited until he had more to say before he started writing. I disagree. I think that had he not written those first 6 that he doesn't think are very good, but yet they were still published, so somebody thought that they were good. Had he not written those first 6, he would not have felt as good about as he did about the 7th book, because you learn as you go along. I've had really only 2 careers in my life. One, I talk for a living, and there's been a lot of different ways that I've done that. And the other one is that I paint, and I learned how to paint houses and paint commercial spaces. I'm not talking about painting pictures, but, you know, whether it be in commercial or residential. And people have asked me before about, you know, cutting a straight line with a brush, you know, so you hold a brush and you paint a straight line from a wall up against a ceiling. And how do you do that? And, well, it's a fairly simple thing. You put a brush in your hand and you go, and you just have to be willing to make mistakes, and you have to cut close to 10 miles worth of line before you're going to feel like you're confident at it. It's a matter of just doing it. And I think that that is the important thing. There's another cliche that I've heard a long time, that if you are wondering what you should do, just do something. You know, it's really okay to be wrong. It's not necessarily a bad thing to make mistakes, because I have never learned anything from something I did correctly. If I did it correctly, that means I already knew it. But if I make a mistake, now I have a chance to learn. And that's what this process was. That's what this year anniversary for this week is all about with me. It's something that I learned later after I made a decision a year ago. And just because I learned more later doesn't mean that I knew it right at that moment. So I don't look at all of that as a mistake. I look at it as an opportunity for me to learn, for me to grow. And now I'm doing something new that I don't think, had I not gone the route that I did a year ago, I don't know that I'm doing this right now. So always look for opportunities to learn and to grow, and stop being afraid of mistakes. By the way, I think that one gentleman that would agree with me is George Ivanov with The Best Wrestler, and he has what I consider to be one of the best wrestling clubs around. So if you have a young person that wants to get into wrestling, maybe they don't have any experience at all, or maybe they have a lot of experience and are looking to take what they are doing to the next level, go to thebestwrestler.com, set up an appointment, go in and visit the facilities that George has set up over by the Mid-America Center, take a look, and also while you're on the website, look at all of the things that George is doing for the community. So that's thebestwrestler.com. Also, Foxco Fabrication, they are the ones that built that Christmas tree that's out on top of GT Motors on Broadway. Seeing a lot of comments online about this thing, that people are really enjoying it. Somebody made some comment about, well, that thing doesn't even look strong enough to hold itself up. How they put a Christmas tree on there? Well, it's not solid. I mean, it's a frame with a bunch of lights around it. It doesn't weigh as much as you think it does. But anyway, Foxco Fabrication does a lot of marketing products. You can go to their website, foxcofab.com, and take a look at the mugs, the cups, the signs, everything that they do there. But also, Rick is a master welder. He's really, really good. And they also have a service where they can turn your truck into a flatbed. So if you're a contractor or a farmer or somebody that could use a flatbed, get a hold of Rick at Foxco Fabrication and take a look at all that they have to offer. Well, as I was talking about, about the reason why it's important to continue to learn and not being afraid of mistakes. The mistakes are not the enemy. Mistakes are actually your friend, because that's where you get better. Learning encourages new ideas, processes, solutions. Businesses that prioritize learning can innovate, which is one of the keys to staying ahead of competitors and finding new opportunities. Things are changing all the time. And that's why you need to be active and learning about everything. Even if you think you know everything, trust me, somebody is learning a new way of doing it, and you're going to want to go along for the ride with that. Things are much different today than they were even 10 years ago. It makes me wonder where things are going to be in another 10 years. And also, improved decision-making is a continuous learning decision-making skills by expanding knowledge, enhancing critical thinking, fostering a deeper understanding of business strategies and markets. All of these things are just ways that we can grow as a business. Also, we can grow as individuals. I don't buy into the fact that, it's just business. My personal values are also my business values. And that is something that I've learned over the years, because I'm going to say something that I try really hard not to say, is at the end of the day. That's one of those cliches that I'm over with. I'm really like to find something else to say besides at the end of the day. I once heard somebody say, at the end of the day, what we want these morning meetings to be. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Somebody else who's constantly learning, that is Kelsey Rollins with Sprout Marketing Solutions. I'm going to be talking with her later this week. We're going to be going to one of her clients and places and shooting some video and learning about what it is that she does. And she's in a constant learning state. And that's one of the reasons why she is so successful at what it is that she does. She can help grow your business. She can help grow your followers and likes on social media, and also help you with your website, and even do setting up direct mail. Whatever it is that you need to do, Sprout Marketing Solutions is there for you. And Service Master Restore by Schmader, that is Cindy Schmader. She is the number that you hope you don't need, but you sure are glad that she's there when you do need it, because if disaster strikes, you're going to need some help. You're going to need some help sorting all of this stuff out. And if it's a flood, if you've had a tornado come through, which is something that a lot of folks had to deal with this past year, maybe a fire, these kind of things can just happen and you don't know what you're going to do next. Well, Cindy Schmader with Service Master Restore by Schmader is here to be able to help you with that. So if you go to servicemasterrestore.com and you just plug in the location that we are in, that's going to pull Cindy up, because she's got offices both in Council Bluffs and in Omaha, so she can help you on both sides of the river. So, and she's also one of my favorite people and has been very, very supportive what we're doing here at Morning Coffee. We're kind of talking this morning about reasons why you need to continue to learn in business and different ways that you can learn. It's not always about making a mistake. Sometimes you're just diving in because you have a problem that you want to solve. So I hear a lot, well, YouTube exists. This program is on YouTube along with Facebook and Instagram, and we're looking at adding some new platforms very, very soon. So pay attention and be watching for that. Hopefully before the end of the week, we're going to be on some new platforms in addition to where we are already at. And I'll let you know when that happens. But it also can help with enhanced customer satisfaction as you are continuing to learn, because you need to learn about your customers' needs, preferences, and feedback, which allows businesses to better meet their customers' expectations. That leads to improved customer satisfaction and loyalty. And there is a lot of truth to that. People work with people, not necessarily businesses. And that I've had that said to me directly to me. We wanted to work with you, not because of what business that you were employed by, but because we wanted to work with you. And that's about building relationships, and that's about learning. But jumping back to what I was saying before about YouTube, that it's a great platform to be able to learn things. When I was first starting doing this and starting to dive into more of the part of video editing, there was a lot of things that I didn't know. And I have my own platform that I use. By the way, I'll just tell you what it is. It's called DaVinci Resolve. That's what I edit all of my video on. And if you're going to learn a platform to edit video, it's the one that I would suggest. I mean, first off, it's free. They have a paid version, which has a lot more bells and whistles to it, but you can use the free version, and it does some wonderful things, even if you just want to do it as a hobby. So it does take it takes a bit of memory in your computer. So take a look at the specs in your computer and make sure that you do that before you download that program on there. But it is, I watch YouTube videos in order to learn how to do different things. And because somebody has already done it. Years ago, I had this Jeep Cherokee and I broke there's a cable that makes the power window go up and down. I tried to run it while the window was frozen shut and I broke that cable. So I had to learn how to do that. Went to YouTube. That's just another way to be able to learn. We've got some wonderful resources. I made a joke last week about being of the generation where we went diving into a set of encyclopedias, which, by the way, never changed. The ones that I had in the house were printed in the 60s, and this is what I wrote all my papers with. So, but I don't know how much changed between the 60s and 70s. But anyway, now things are updated very, very quickly. And that's why we are able to stay up to date so much easier. So again, this is just me kind of going on about the importance of learning. And if you haven't realized it yet or not, a lot of these things that I talk about is not just for you, it's also for me. And I was thinking about this, so I went diving in a little bit deeper to a lot of the different things that I have been dealing with over the past year, and that's what got me thinking about all of this. So being willing to learn and being willing to make mistakes, I think, are the two biggest things that are important to being able to grow a business. Also, if you go back, which, by the way, they're still out there, you can go back and look at the very first show that I did for Morning Coffee, and what I said was, I'm not really sure what this show is going to be yet. And to be honest, I don't think it's completely formed yet. We've been at this a few months now. I don't think it's become completely what it's going to be, but it's starting to take shape. I'm starting to see what this can become. And I think a lot of it has to do with getting out of this studio and actually being out and about in the community and recording in different places. I loved it going up to Walnut, Iowa, and talking with the different shop owners there and being able to showcase some of these folks that they're out there doing business and they're just grinding away, trying to make a living. And we can forget about that because of everything that's available online. I was talking with somebody just yesterday, and he was talking about doing Christmas shopping. He said, I'm just going to do it all online. And I'm thinking, you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on a big part of the experience. And that's why I've been preaching all December to not only shop local, but also shop in person. Get out there, meet some of these shop owners. And many of them have said, It's not always about whether you buy something or not. They just want to meet you. It's about starting to develop relationships. And a lot of times they know how to better serve you because they are a small business. You cannot get the level of service from an online, large, worldwide corporation that you can from a small shop owner. It's just not possible. So get out, visit some of the different places around Pottawatomie County, go out a little bit farther in Southwest Iowa if you like. But that, in my mind, this is all local. These are local shop owners. And also just spread a little love throughout this Christmas season. And that's a big way that you can be able to do it. All right. Well, I've kind of preached on and on here for a little bit, and I think you kind of get the gist of everything that I'm talking about. A lot of guests coming up this week, and I hope that you will keep watching this show. I can see from the numbers that you are. That's the great thing about what I'm doing now versus what I was doing in radio. Radio just throws out some random number that in these ratings that may or may not be accurate. There's really no way of knowing. We were taught to say that they were, but no, there's really no way. These I can actually see specific numbers. I can see how many clicks there are. A lot of times I can see, age demographics about male and female and everything else. That I don't really care about. It's more just a curiosity, but I do like to watch those numbers go up. How can you help me make those numbers go up? Click share, click like, follow this page, whether you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or any of the new platforms that are going to be coming up very soon. It's something free that you can do, and we're going to keep promoting everything that's going on in Council Bluffs and the surrounding area, and that's how you can help us spread that word a little bit further. I am proud of where I live. I think that this is a wonderful place to live, and I think that we have problems, just like every place has problems, and we're working on those problems, but there's the good far outweighs the bad. And there's such wonderful people in this community. And that's how you meet them, by getting out and about. So put the phone down. Here's mine. Yeah, just set it down, quit shopping on there, and head out into some of these local stores. Still got another week and a couple of days to be able to do this. So I encourage you, please get out there and do that. All right, that's going to wrap up the show for this Monday. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate all of the support. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.